Hey everybody, it's Weaver again, and today I wanted to talk about something that I've kind of noticed a fair bit, especially recently, and that is fear. That's namely justifying not transitioning by reason of being afraid of some of the consequences. Um, Now, I'm just as guilty of being afraid as everybody else, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm immune to the fear. I don't want anybody to think that I've just never thought about it, that I've never experienced it. I remember a long time before I transitioned being afraid of being hurt. Um, and I mean like physically assaulted, hurt, even being killed. I was terrified of that. And I still am. I don't want people to think that that's something that goes away. I'm still afraid of it. I'm still terrified. But I don't let that run my life. Um, One of the other fears that I ended up developing was a fear of being alone, a fear of being unloved, of being unlovable, and being worthless, and this subsequent fear of what if I'm not that broken, but what I'm doing is just making everything worse. You know, I had that fear for a long time, and every once in a while I still get it. Um, and I've been asked by a few people, how do I deal with the phobias enough to transition? And the only thing that I can really tell you guys is they don't really disappear. They don't really go away entirely, but if the transition is necessary in your case, then you learn to live with them. And I know that sounds so bad, but that's the reality. It's one of the downsides of being different. It's not unique to the trans community. It's not unique to any specific minority. It's just a reality. It's there for everybody. Um, but I did ask a couple of my trans guy friends if the fear is still there for them, and they told me yes. There's still certain fears even when you're going female to male. And I asked my parents if they were afraid for me, and they said yes. They're far less afraid that I'm not going to find anybody than they are that I'm going to be hurt. And I understand that, especially with all the statistics. And I'm sure most of us have heard, if not seen the video, heard about the video of the trans woman um, being attacked in a McDonald's. So it's something that's kind of out there, and it's something that's kind of it's something that a lot of people talk about because there's a lot of violence out there, especially nowadays. And God, I really wish that I could tell you that the fears just go away and that you can just ignore them and they never come up, and transitioning is just perfect. I really wish I could say that, but I can't. Um, I still have moments where I'm afraid that I'm not going to find anybody. There are still moments where I'm afraid that I'm going to be a fetish for the rest of my life. There are still moments like that where I'm terrified. But I just have to realize that I don't have to conform to someone else. I don't have to be someone else to be loved. I I get my fair share of attention, and one thing that I've definitely discovered is true is that I tend to get more attention because I'm transgender than I did when I was a boy. I again, I don't know if that's because of the whole fetish thing or what, but I get a fair bit, so I'm not complaining. Um, as far as the underlying issue of being alone, the whole feeling broken thing, I still get that. I'm not gonna lie, I still get that. I still feel broken every once in a while, and I still feel like I'm only making it worse every once in a while. But the reality is that those moments are so overshadowed by the moments that I can wake up and look in the mirror and like who I see and be happy with my body and be happy with who I am. Those moments are so fleeting in the light of being happy with yourself. So that's that's how I combat that. As far as the fear of being hurt, um, again, it's not a fear that goes away. I still have that fear today. If I meet someone and I don't know them very well, I'm really hesitant to be alone with them because I am afraid that they're going to hurt me. I can't really give you too much advice on how to navigate that one. The way that I navigate it is that I don't put myself in a situation that either I'll regret later or that I won't have a chance to regret later. I'm very careful with what I do. I don't live in fear. Like, I don't just let that, control me. But I'm not stupid. But I just don't put myself in those situations. But then again, I would like to say this. I also didn't put myself in those situations when I was, pre-transition. I didn't put myself in those situations. Back then, I've always been feminine. I've always been androgynous. So I think that has something to do with it. So I think that if it is a matter of going from passable as a straight man to living as a woman, I think that there is a certain level of giving up a certain degree of safety, but you're giving up. I don't know how to explain this without sounding like I'm trying to be deep, but you're giving up an illusion for safety, for actual happiness. Because you're just as... I don't want to say you're just as likely, but if you put yourself in those situations, you're just as likely. That's what I would suggest, is don't let it run your life, but don't be stupid about it. Don't throw yourself into danger's way, and you should be okay. Just keep in mind stranger danger. Like, I know it's so preschool, but the reality is still there. There's still stranger danger out there. So, but I guess the entire synopsis of this would be, don't let fear be the only reason that you don't transition. If you don't want to transition, then don't. But don't justify it with fear. If you need to transition, for me it was a necessity. Not to seem dramatic, but a life or death matter, then don't let fear stand in your way. Just do what you need to do and be careful along the way. That's all I really got for you guys today. But I really do hope that at least someone was helped by this. So I will talk to you guys later. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye.